if you've not tuned in before and this is your first time, we'll do a quick introduction. My name's Alistair and I'm a mediumistic life coach, tarot reader, psychometry person and Reiki master. And this is Penny.
Hello! I felt obliged to do it because Leah had written it. So my name's Penny and I'm a lifetime empath, a third generation dowser, a Reiki master, a doula, an advanced master herbalist, and I do readings too, of many different kinds.
Excellent. We have a few psychic irons in the fire, as it were, of spirituality. So yeah, good evening guys. Thanks for joining us. Right, Penny, I'm going to hand it over to you actually. You can talk about angel cards first.
I don't know why you want to hand it over to me. Don't change the order of things. You're going to make me
If you guys
really
have got a topic
confused.
that you want to, thank you Marion, if you want to actually discuss or talk about, by all means do that.
Yeah, any questions about any subject, preferably to do with spiritual or ethereal or anything to do with the paranormal or magic and mystical.
Yeah.
Absolutely, pop your questions in the comments. We'll just keep wittering at you every week until you start contributing. I'm just saying, the best ones we've had is when people
Andy.
have asked us questions. So, yo, Andy.
Excellent. And yeah, a bit later on, if we've got time, if you guys put a heart, type a heart in the comments, and if we've got time, we'll do just like a single card, kind of what I call a theme of the day card, although it's the end of the day, but we could do theme of tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, right, Penny, angel
No
cards,
pressure.
what are they?
What, angel cards?
Yeah.
Angel cards are just a different form of tarot. There are many different varieties of tarot. We probably in the house have about 10 different types of cards. I have 2 or 3 actually. I was going to say there's some giant cards over there on the shelves. If
Do you want me to pop them down?
Yes, please.
Back in a minute.
I'm quite undignified when I get up.
Oh, I was much better, was I?
Andy, stop putting things up that you want me to say that I can barely read and I definitely can't pronounce. Hi, Darkpool Paranormal.
Thanks, mate.
It's nice, yes, please. It's good of you to join us this evening. So, we'll start with the angel cards, and I'm not doing a great big long description,
Breathe
and it
in.
won't be anything like a Wikipedia entry, although I will be making it up. Just the same. So, I have 3 different packs of angel cards for no apparent reason, and I've only started using them this year, interestingly. So I have some giant ones that are really pretty, but they're gigantic and really cumbersome, and I'm not very coordinated, so much as I loved them and purchased them, I don't use those. Then I have some little tiny ones that I forgot I had. These are really pretty. If you can see them. These are really super pretty.
What are they called? Who are they made by?
They're
Do we know?
probably Spirit and Destiny, to be fair. I do have some Annie Rose. I can't remember names of the other ones. And the ones that I started using recently, I did a reading with, is the Archangel deck. Although now I found the other little tiny deck, I actually prefer that. So what I would ordinarily do is do a standard tarot reading, which we will be looking at later. And then to follow that, I reinforce with the angel cards. So I will do a standard reading, which generally follows family, health, career and love as a touch on each subject, and then I will use more cards to do more information about that, and then I will ask a specific question. If there's something that's come up during the reading, then I can use these, and the reason why I use these afterwards is because these actually have meanings written on them. So I will generally get a sense of what the information is that I need to
Chloe.
impart. Hi, Chloe.
I'm just reading the comments.
And then I'm so
Sorry.
easily
Sorry,
distracted.
keep going. Don't lose your thread.
And then I will read what is also written on the card, because usually when these come out, they come out because they are drawn to come out to match the information that's come from the standard tarot cards. So I don't do soul angel readings because I don't think I have enough of a connection with them.
I don't do angel readings because all of the cards to do with angel cards are feminine. I haven't found one masculine deck of angel cards.
However, the angels are males, so that's quite interesting.
It is. It's all to do with semantics. When you think of angels or somebody doing a reading that's to do with angels, it kind of feels natural for it to be a woman doing it, if you get my logic.
Yeah, but when you've got angel cards for Raphael and Ariel and Aziel and all the others, they're males, so that's quite weird. Hi, Michael. Nice of you to come and join us, my lovely.
Evening.
If we don't say hello to you, one, it's because I'm pretty blind. I will be putting my glasses on in a minute, but they reflect all the light, so I struggle to read. And sometimes Facebook doesn't tell us that you're there.
Yeah.
So if we say hello, it might come up and tell us one person is here 6 or 7 times and then not tell us anybody else. It's a really reliable format.
It is.
Anywho, so...
what else can you tell us about angel cards?
What else can I tell you about angel cards? They've got very pretty pictures. I don't bond with them, and like I say, I've got many different kinds of cards and 3 different kinds of angel cards. I think because I really wanted to, I was drawn to buy them, drawn to be with them, but I haven't been drawn to use them up until this year. And that was only on the last reading that I did. I haven't used them before that, so we shall see. They might come out again, they might never be used again, but we shall see. But they're all really pretty. These ones actually look like they've been drawn by a small child. Anywho, so some people do read from them, but there are many different kinds of readings. I know somebody that reads using, what are they called? The psychic cards that have the waves and the circle and the triangle.
Oh, actually just...
and
the
they
pictorial
do
cards.
readings from them because actually what they're doing is they're being guided intuitively by the spirit rather than the cards. So the cards might not actually give them a lot of information at all, but what it does is it focuses them on being able to do the reading, and the fact that the other person has touched the cards and given their essence, maybe. I don't know. Guess what? I don't know.
But then other tarots. So for the other side of tarot, I read an Aleister Crowley deck, which are known as Thoth. A Thoth
Again,
deck.
not easy to say if you've got a lisp.
And I was talking this week or last week, I can't remember now, with my daughter about how reading these goes, and then later on in the week, somebody was talking on another Facebook page about divination and their favourite thing. And mine, at one point, was just playing cards. And I'm going to touch on a reason why in a minute. Because tarot itself will always come with some form of book.
Or leaflet.
Yeah, there's always something, or there's a guide that's sort of packed in with the cards. And I get that, I understand that makes perfect sense. When you buy a car, you get an owner's manual for it, but you won't necessarily read it, and you won't necessarily understand exactly how the fuse box and everything works in your car, because nobody's going to read all of that. And it's kind of the same thing. It's a bit like a user guide, if you get the right kind of book for the cards. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Excellent. Right. So you've got what I would class as a book reading, which you can pull any of those cards, and that book will give you a fairly definitive explanation. And then there's what I class as intuitive. And it's a bit more like a kaleidoscope. So as I'm just going to pull a random card off the top. So the random card off the top there is works, which if you can see there's multiple different things in there. So there's circles, there's what looks like broken glass, there's a triangle, which could actually be a pyramid because it's got shading to look like a point. So as you look at the cards, they all have more than one depiction on there. So when I sort of say kaleidoscope, is my focus will be being drawn to a particular point on it, which means it might not even be the card that the book says has anything to do with the topic I need to talk about with the reading, if you get my logic. Hence why if you simplify that and just go to the tarot, just go to standard playing cards, you literally just work with the high arcana set and you take away all your kind of number cups and swords and things like that. To sort of simplify it. So, first rule for me with tarot was reading for myself and understanding how my cards read for me if I need information for me, because that's first and foremost what I wanted them for, was for my own guidance, to give me a focal point on the day. And if you guys, I don't know if you've seen some of my Instagram and things like that, there'll be like a card of the day. And that'll tell me kind of either what to prepare for or what's going on. And then sometimes you'll pull an angel card for me on the same sort of thing. So learn to read for yourself, so you understand how the cards are affected by the energy, because you're the energy that's being imparted in them. So you have to develop a relationship with your cards, which sounds a little bit wishy-washy, but they're my cards, and I've had these cards for nearly 20 years. And if I just show you this as well, look, the cards are relatively sort of mucky and worn because they've been used.
Loved.
The book
He's like new.
barely has a page I've barely read. I've possibly scanned quickly to a couple of cards randomly just to look a bit deeper into something. But I read from an intuitive point of view.
Yes.
So it's that sort of logic. But to cover a topic that the Ghostbox team brought up.
Are you moving away from playing cards?
No. I'm sticking with the cards at the second.
Okay.
What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say something that links with the standard playing cards, but that's fine if you go back to them.
Yeah, I'm coming back to that anyway.
Okay.
What I wanted you to do, if you've got a calculator and you want to do the maths on it, you have 72 cards in a tarot deck that can be read either way. So you've got 72 times 2, and then you've got to do the maths to work out what the actual combination of potential readings of a standard 3 reading is. Then you've kind of get down to the laws of probability. I've gone down this route. So I've explored the energy that works around my cards and me in a logical sense and go, what's the probability of that? And I don't sit on the rules of probability. I sit firmly on the intuition and the energy that's being read. Hence why you said earlier about those just cue cards, them psychic cards.
Yeah.
It works. That's how it'll work the same way for the playing cards, because it'll be a slightly simpler message. It might be a jack, so it's a lower level male within a family. So it's not a dad, granddad. It's an uncle, brother. Do you get my logic? Or it could be the Queen. So we know that's going to be a high level female, and it depends on what you're drawn to. Are you drawn to the heart within that picture, or are you drawn to her scouring face within that picture? Just standard playing cards can deliver different things. Are you drawn to the colour blue? Is it more an emotive? I'm trying to get rid of Penny there. The Queen of Hearts. So, do you get my logic? It's a kaleidoscope of images and things within a card that give you what you can read. Mm-hmm. Hence why when I hear anybody on live tarot reading things and mediumship things, if it's wishy-washy, what I class as Control-C, Control-V stuff out of a book, then I'm not interested. I'm not going to engage with that. It needs to be that it definitely means something to me about something relevant.
So Michael's put a comment. Our
excellent.
friend who has now passed used to read playing cards but couldn't read them if they'd been used for games. They had to be new or only used for reading. And she was so accurate. And everybody's completely different. And which is the point that I was going to make. A couple of episodes back, I was saying about my dad used playing cards to do readings, and I didn't find out that until well after the fact. But he, I believe, used the whole pack. I don't think he just used pitch cards.
You can do the whole pack.
I think he used the whole pack just to make it complicated for himself.
I only use the high arcana cards, or the high cards in an 8, because it narrows a reading down. It's like kind of removing most of the target and getting closer, if you get what I mean. If you take out all the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, which are all going to represent wands and clubs and money and things like that, you kind of, I just try and boil it down. But that's only my way of doing it. If somebody can read all the tarot cards, yeah. On the other point, with the energy of it, I totally get that. I wouldn't want somebody just handling my normal tarot cards and just jokingly going, oh, let's have a game of Snap. I'd be offended by something like that.
And yet, you will have the school of thought that a reader is a reader, and no matter what's occurred with the cards, they are able to get a reading. I'm not necessarily saying I agree or disagree with that. I'm saying that everybody does different opinions.
What I was going to say is, if I read a deck of playing cards and I've just picked them up from somewhere, it's what I'd class as borrowed energy. So it's predominantly me, because it's my energy in the cards. They're fairly fresh, or they've been used. Failing that, if you've got a couple of minutes to sit with the cards, you could just sit and just do a cleanse on them, clean the energy out of them.
Or wrap them in a cloth and pop them under your pillow, or under your bed. Some people put them under their bed.
So does that make sense? Sometimes what I say can be a little bit like I've gone down a rabbit hole and forgot you guys were with me.
I know, it's loads of fun. It's
and
like
it just
living on a roller coaster.
As long as that sort of makes sense, because I'd encourage anybody to learn Reiki and use that for yourself. Learn tarot and use that for yourself. All of those sorts of things are all good. They're good building blocks for a good solid foundation.
Okay.
Oh, I felt like I was on a little...
Have you had your moment now?
I think I have, yeah. I'll kind of hand it back over to you.
Okay, so, as Alistair was saying, you generally get a book. You generally get a little leaflet or a booklet that comes with the cards. And some people will spend years learning. I've seen online quite a lot of people that offer to teach you how to do it. And it's quite a lengthy process to learn the entire thing. The original cards that it would have been done on is ordinary cards anyway, ordinary playing cards. Before tarot cards existed, they would have been ordinary cards. That would have been how it started. Let's not get into the mancies.
Yeah, I mean, it is a form of divination. That's when you boil it down to it. It's that divination. When
you first start with the tarot, again, if you're guided by somebody, if you're following the book, there are reams of pages in those books that show you the many different spreads that you can do. The 3-card past, present and future, the 13 houses. There are so many different spreads that you can do. But
the Thoth one is the full 72, and it's like a triangle with a cross in the middle. But I've never done it. I've only kind of looked at it briefly on the flyer that was in the cards. If you
feel drawn to using cards, absolutely. Do what feels right to you. Get a book if you want to, read it or abandon it, much like we do. Many years ago, I used to read, and I found them the other day because I'd hidden them in a little wooden box. I found my original cards, and they were Astro Tarots. And I remember that originally I started with a book, and then used the book as a guide, and then whatever else came into my head is what came out of my mouth, usually with a bit of sensitivity.
I made some PDFs.
Yeah, so everybody does it differently.
Sounds a bit geeky now.
And you, rather than have a fixed rule of this is how you do this, feel what's right for you.
Something else I would say, sorry to just interject, because I think it was important, is the other thing when you learn tarot reading is people naturally transition to reading for friends and family. Friends and family are generally going to be nicer to you and say, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. They're not necessarily going to tell you straight away whether you're right or wrong, and neither is a friend, because they want you to get it right. So a lot of the time it is almost worth, if you can join a circle or a group
Or
where
get
you
a
can
mentor
read. Yeah, or
who
somebody that can,
isn't going to put pressure on you to learn it.
yeah, and if you are kind of, you kind of reading it and you go, they were close. But it's hard to kind of, you can't really train somebody to read it because they're technically reading for someone else. But you do need to read for somebody that can sit there and flatly go, no, I don't know what you're talking about, mate. No, I'm not sure. So you can kind of go, okay, cards, right, we need to, I don't know what's going on here. He doesn't understand the message, or I'm completely blind.
Or you've misinterpreted
Yeah.
the information that was coming through and you've focused in the wrong place. Because when messages come through, cards, they're not clear. And there is so much information that kind of comes at once. And if you're interpreting a picture, you need to be considering what other cards are with that card. Because that changes the narrative of the story. By putting all of the information together, not just picking out one card and looking at that and going, well, that's a picture of a wheel. It's about looking in more depth with cards and then reaching out intuitively to see what information pops into your head, because that's the important bit, the intuition.
Leah put a heart up on there. So I sort of I just sat for a second then while you were chatting.
Yeah.
And pulled a card. And I think my cards are having a joke, or having a bit of a giggle, because it's pulled the fortune card for Leah. And I swear before, Leah the other day was saying, all I keep reading for myself, he just keeps giving me the same card, just fortune. I swear that's what she said. It's just done it again. That's hilarious. But do you guys understand what we mean by the tarot? There's a lot of Insta tarot readers out there where it's kind of a lot of gear and sometimes no idea. I'd much rather you could sit and just read with a crystal. If the intent is right and the energy is right and the person's reading the energy right, they'll get it. So here's a question for you, Penny.
Oh, God. I didn't know there was a test.
How do we do a reading for somebody when they're there and not here? How do we do that?
Okay, I've just realised people are putting hearts up and we're taking no notice whatsoever.
No, yeah, we will do.
Okay.
Danny's there next.
Yeah.
Leah's not put yet whether she wants my cards to bugger off.
Okay, so I think it's harder. And you got the fortune yesterday as well.
Well, there we go.
Something's being said.
It's a wheel.
And if it's a financial...
We're on the right track.
Yeah, if it's a financial thing, just remember friends and family, yeah?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's much easier for reading to be able to also sense off somebody's energy while they're in the room with you. And if they can touch the cards, they transfer some of their energy onto the cards. Everybody has a natural energetic vibration, and if they're in the room with you, they're going to share it, and that makes it much easier to get the information and interpret the information that's come through to you, if that makes sense. Who's put an angry face?
I've just seen that.
An
angry face go up.
Somebody's leaned on a button, we'll put it like that. Nobody's cross. And earlier, by the way, Michael, I agree, it is a fascinating subject. And lovely Chloe, who agreed with you.
The beauty of this as well is that everything, it's only our opinion. This is only how it works for us. You have to kind of figure out your own way of doing it and defragging it in your head. Because
this is just information to work from. It isn't, this is the fixed route of your life and you must not deviate from anything that I give you within the cards. Not at all. It is, we are giving information to you that have been given to us. Bryony, it's not good enough. Don't fling your phone across the room. It's just not good enough. Hi, Marie. And by the way, hi, Bryony.
Evening.
Before we move away from that, purely because you did put a heart up, Danny, and I was shuffling the cards at the time, 2 cards jumped out. So I'm taking there for you. So I'm really intrigued by these. I think it's quite an open interpretation. Female energy with you, Danny, for sure. Starting to, because there's a lot going on with you in your life, are there some contentious issues about your wedding? I'm seeing the world opening up for you, and in theory, with lockdown lifting, that would be great. And people coming to you. So I can only, I'm kind of looking ahead on what you've said previously when you've come on, that it is linked to your wedding. And I have a feeling there is something around a female, but I don't know what it is. I'd like to think that you haven't had any kind of disagreement, but there's a lot of clashes of personality, and if that hasn't surfaced, just be aware of it. Be aware of who you're talking to. It's not a bad thing. I'm seeing blue skies and happiness, but I'm seeing you might have a little bit of a slog to get there. But definitely there's some kind of female energy that's a bit fizzly, not necessarily out and out vicious and unhappy with you, but I do see a fizzling female energy. So somebody is unhappy around you, and that's going to affect you. Be aware of it and do all that you can to stay positive and not be drawn into that, because you've got the world opening up to you. Something positive. Sorry, they were the cards that fell out randomly for Danny. So
You have to say sorry.
So, Alistair said, how do we do readings from people that are far away from us? Because you haven't touched the card, what we have to do is we have to focus on, in some cases, if we don't know you, we will focus on your name. And we will reach out to see what energy is there.
It's an energetic link.
And what comes to us. Yeah, absolutely. And as you said earlier with the Reiki and being able to do the distance healing, everything is connected by energy. And it's about finding that tether, that cord. And yes, it's a bit more difficult because you're quite far away. So the tether is longer. It doesn't mean that we can't connect to you, though. It just means it's a little bit harder to do.
It's easier if we know you, because we can, I call it,
do you think?
Just remembered energy. I know the energy of what that person's like when I was round them, and
Okay.
so you can kind of, like a memory link.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
But if I didn't know somebody, then yeah, I'd be on exactly the same stretched out plane as you.
So with that in mind,
I've got Marion's card here.
before you move on, there is an extra step that comes with this, and it doesn't always come, but sometimes it really does, is that you have the intuitive interpretation of the card, the information that pops into your head from just whatever is linked to it is that you're looking at, and then, if we're lucky, as happened last week, a couple of weeks ago maybe, while we're doing the reading, some lovely person in the spirit jumps in to communicate at the same time, and that's an added little bonus. We don't charge extra for that.
You get an interpreter. That's brilliant.
That's just excellent. If the link is so strong, if somebody feels like information, somebody in the spirit feels like information really needs to be communicated, they'll reinforce it by coming through as well, and giving information or directing you to particular cards or to draw more cards. So sometimes we'll have a little conversation, sometimes out loud, sometimes in our head, with an extra.
I think out loud
Third
always
party.
seems a bit Hollywood. It always seems
You
a bit,
say that,
it's
but
a bit
when I have the conversations in my head, I just sit and zone out, and I look like I've either had a stroke or I'm daydreaming and I'm just not taking any notice because I'm holding a full animated conversation in my head. I'm just not showing you it. So yeah, getting used to doing that out loud properly is quite difficult. But yeah, sometimes it can be a bit Hollywood, but it's
I was
not
trying to
meant
remember what
be.
this was called.
What?
On the haunted programme that we do not mention.
One we do not know. Derek.
What was the name of his guide though?
Sam, take
That
it
was
off
it.
me, Sam.
Sam.
I've got right.
Take
I've
it
got
away,
to say,
Sam.
and I have said this in the past. I don't have a specific spirit guide. There are a couple of people in spirit that I would really love to be my guides, but clearly my pushing has meant that they're not. So I don't have a specific guide. However, I have had, and being an empath makes it harder in that if somebody has passed with a particular condition and that information is what is necessary to confirm who they are, to validate it for the person I'm reading for, I will experience the condition. And it's really, it can be really unpleasant and really uncomfortable. And I have said, that's enough, thank you, take it off. But not in such a dramatic way. Take it off me, Sam, take it off me. Derek's going to come back and get me, I can feel it.
We used to have friends round and everything to watch that stupid programme. It's mental.
You're an idiot.
But
I went and watched it live at Denby Asylum, so how stupid am I?
oh, you said that out loud. The viewers are going to go dong 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 dong.
I just
drop
said
off
live,
now.
I didn't say. Yeah, bye everybody.
Anyway, right, back to actual energy readings and stuff.
Do you want to do that, or do you want to slip into Marion? Slip into Marion.
I
That
did
was
pull
unexpected.
Marion's card here. Okay, so Marion, you got the worry card. Now the key points at the bottom of that were it's a grounded worry, and it's this base of the star that you can see there, and it's what I would class as it's the earth point. So there's something that you're worried about that's it's in your own home, so it's earthbound. My first thought was something potentially going into the earth. I wasn't sure if you've got somebody around you or something around you that's particularly poorly or perhaps near end of life. It kind of had that sort of feeling about it. But if that's kind of close or makes sense, we perhaps need to discuss more of that in a more private setting. But that's kind of what it was. It was just you were worried about something around that things I've mentioned. So I don't know if that makes sense. Just let us know, and if we need to elaborate on it, we'll do that privately.
Just along with that, not to step on Alistair's toes, because this is the thing we do read together.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
Which is not many people can do, to be fair.
You're
Is
gonna waffle.
Huh?
You're gonna waffle.
Oh, just a little tiny bit. Marion, I picked up from you that this injury that you got really floored you, but it floored you mentally rather than just physically. And that put the worry in you about your own vulnerability. I drew a card that said things are going to get better. And I then drew an angel card, and the angel card says that they bring you renewed energy. So that reinforces the original card that things are starting to get better. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, Marion's
Focus
put there.
on
That's
getting
very
well.
relevant.
Excellent.
Right, that's good. Like I say,
You're going to get well.
Marion, I've known you for years.
Pull your socks up. Pack it in.
If we need to talk more about it, we can do. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway,
Hang on. So we did have another heart. Let's go back a little bit. I'm mindful to get as many as we can.
I think Anna had
Anna
one.
Banana.
Yeah, so we'll do one more, and then I'm going to talk about a slightly different topic.
Anna, only because we can do you any time. Do you mind if we do somebody new that we haven't done, if that's all right? Michael, I think you put up a heart. Do you want to pull for a card for Michael?
Michael? I don't know, Michael. Ooh,
No,
excellent.
it's somebody new to us for reading, so I'm just thinking that would be really interesting. Thank you, lovely Anna. So understanding.
Theme of the day card, I kind of just picture your name and kind of, I don't know who you are, so I just visualise. But my deck threw a card at me, which was indolence. Which to me is about you holding yourself back in some way, or somebody's holding you back in some way. But you're kind of accepting it at the minute for a reason, and I don't know why. And the reason I say that is the description is all the cups are not all full, but it's quite a dark card for me to pull, so it sort of yeah, this is a sort of cup half empty sort of logic, but it does feel like you're purposely in control of that. Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
I also pulled a card for you. I get a feeling of impatience. Something is annoying you, or it's not happening at the speed that you want it to happen. And as Alistair was saying with the card that he had, it
I'm going to look
is
in the book.
a half empty, half full situation. You need to change your focus to it's a half full. For things to improve, that's what you need to do. That's a really lonely card. I've got a lonely card for you, that you're out on your own. Not necessarily not with people, but feeling adrift of people. Maybe that's caused by the impatience, or maybe that's causing the impatience, but that you're kind of out on, you feel like you're out on a limb. But there is a female. There is energy around you, female energy, that I'm thinking that there is a friend, there is a female friend, perhaps somebody who can either help you feel a bit better about things, or is trying to, and you not necessarily want to engage with that. But I'm seeing that that's something that you should do. You should absolutely let them engage. And your angel card tells you that you should love yourself and think nice things about yourself.
Excellent. I hope that makes sense.
I hope
If it does, please put. If it didn't, please
it's
put.
not always
No,
cheery
I don't know what you're talking
news, but sometimes we need to hear the less cheery stuff to see that there's a way forward, because we have to go down before things improve. Things only get better when they've been worse.
Oh, there we go. Makes perfect sense on both, and they're all linked. Just had a chuckle. Excellent.
Bless
Oh, that's
you.
cool.
So that's excellent, because we haven't met you. We've obviously conversed through the UK Haunted Ghost Box, but that's as far as we've gone. So yeah, I hope it is something that will help you, for sure. Excellent.
Okay, last topic on tarot. As some of you will know, I'm a mediumistic life coach. So I'll use tarot as a form of life coaching. So in the way that those cards came out there, we would then talk more, and it's less about spirit, more about grounding and energy that you've got. So we would, each time the cards throw up a little rabbit hole for us, we embrace that and we talk more about it. It's not just a case of me delivering you information and going, see you later, bye, you can now sort that out. We properly go into each bit and go, okay, so what's the stumbling blocks with that? Where do you want to be with that? So how do we get there with that? And that's where the tarot readings, the mediumship, and the life coaching qualifications that I've got all roll into one. And it's a nice big spiritual pile of...
Hodgepodge.
Yeah.
It's a
It all fits
hodgepodge.
together. I mean, I left school, I did sociology, psychology, and an A-level in physics. It wasn't sort of, you know, I have to keep
Well, you keep
things
talking
grounded.
about probability and law of
Yeah,
averages and things.
I'm not wishy-washy with this. It has to make relevant sense to the here and now, and it does. So,
Am I wishy-washy?
no.
A little bit flowery.
Sometimes. Isn't that the name of the person in pantomimes? Isn't there always somebody
Wishy-washy.
Wishy-washy. Madam Wishy-washy.
No, that's the boy, isn't it? Is it Mother Goose? Might be Mother Goose.
Oh, that's that. But it has to be that way for a reason. I'm waiting on some karma happened and then it will change. Yeah, that's what I said. I said that there was this pause that you knew about. So that's good. Excellent. I'm glad that made sense.
Again, we're only doing like mini readings, more in-depth readings. We'd be able to cover more, and if we was in person, it would be even better.
Well, fundamentally, we're doing it to show you we can do it. And to sort of give you guys, if needs be, a spiritual kick up the butt cheek.
Yeah.
To do some yourself and have a go and do some divination. My next thing is I want some Norse runes, and I want to see if they'll work for me. I don't know if they will or not.
Full, yeah.
So yeah, that's my next sort of challenge. But I kind of set myself the challenge that whatever divination method is right for me will come to me. Which might be I get an email to say these Nordic rune stones have got 30% off somewhere. But there'll be a message somewhere. That's
you can make your own.
Or I could make my own.
And I've got my witches runes that I use, which if anybody's seen the little video that I did on our YouTube channel, there are less stones in the witches runes, and I made them myself. You can make them yourself. It's just about the symbols. Again, with the cards, it comes down to interpretation. Like I was saying, when me and Alistair read next to each other, we could draw exactly the same card. Even though they are likely to be parallel, the information we give you, how we link that or deliver that might be slightly different. It doesn't mean the message is any different. It just means that we've interpreted and focused on different aspects. But as I always say, our destination in life is set. It is the journey that we have power over, and we can take different paths and do different things and learn different lessons from each different route that we take. But the overall destination is the same.
I know there's some routes I wouldn't have done with some hindsight.
Why? You've learnt lessons from them, and there are things that you are grateful for now.
I learnt lessons
because you experienced negative stuff, and you've got to. You have to appreciate good.
Yes, I know.
You've got your cards out, Andy. Drawn to a card that said you need to get me out on an investigation. Too right, for sure. It's absolutely killing us to be really well behaved and follow the rules. And we were super nervous when we went and did our little location one, in case anybody came and told us off. But we did. It was for work purposes. We did follow all the necessary guidelines. But we didn't do an investigation, and there wasn't lots of people. It was only the people that resided within the house that went, so we didn't expand. And it was work related. Even if it wasn't, it was exercise.
Where could we go for an investigation around here?
I don't know. We need to think. That's a good idea. Even if we...
I don't know Andy, so I'm sort of...
Even if we don't,
out of this, I don't know.
Andy is the founder of Northampton Spirit Seekers that started me on my lovely journey, kind of doing things on a more professional basis.
If you want us to come out and do the energy reading and psychometry and stuff at a building that you're in or want to get to, yeah.
And if you
Direct
move
messages.
house, Andy, I'd
I'd
better
have to
get
get out
an
and play with some
invite.
spirits. One of the reasons why we haven't been out
I don't want to be a carer.
is that I am a carer. I have a private care client, so I had to shield
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing, so I've had to be really careful. But we are now both injections in and done.
Yeah.
We did the sheeply thing and got it done.
We did, and I'm sure there's benefits. I just don't know them yet.
Don't know.
Anyway, we're not getting onto that subject because
No.
that's not good.
Okay, so what about just energy readings?
Okay, energy readings.
I've been for one of these locally here just before lockdown, funny enough. and sat down with a gentleman who read my aura.
Yeah. Did he? Did he read your aura?
No,
What did he do?
he read yours somehow,
But
which tends to happen if you're doing a cold reading.
yeah, especially if you're being led by purely visual, what you see, which was hilarious.
Yeah, so that
It was an expensive lesson learnt.
it was. Yeah, it was.
It was quite funny though, and it showed very quickly that it was all, I'm just making it up, but he's really well known locally. But what a load of twaddle.
Yeah, at that moment he wasn't.
At the time, I had a tan. I left the country, so I haven't got a tan anymore. But I had a tan, and my hair was very black and straight at the time, straight down, and I had on a particular kind of sundress because it was very, very hot. And he read that I had Native American energy within me. My background was clearly Native American. It's like, you really couldn't be any further in the wrong part of the world there, my love. But thanks anyway for that. No, he didn't even take a picture. It was a conversation. Which ain't
I know the picture was something like 30 quid.
Did he do pictures as well? No, I don't think he did. I think that you had to book him differently for that.
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
I'm glad that you chose not to, though. It was quite an expensive little lesson.
It's
but
not.
energy
It's the same
reading,
lesson you get when you go to Blackpool and you go into that little room and the lady sits there with the crystal ball. And
quite rude.
I'm not. It's just there is times when people should just put a sign on their desk that says they're for their entertainment purposes only.
Everybody should say that it's for entertainment purposes only. And the theory is that it's to weed out fake mediums who take advantage of people. So I kind of understand that.
Hence why I do it as life coaching, because it makes sense and it's relevant to today.
Energy readings.
Yeah, energy. So no cards, no third-party divination item at all.
Can be done without touching somebody at all. Can be done purely by sitting opposite somebody and feeling the energy off them. And sometimes you can see the energy and you can see the colours and the movement, and you can definitely feel it. Sometimes it helps if you hold hands or place your hands on somebody's knees, even if you just lean forward and touch their knees. It is obviously something that works way better in person. It's another link to that tenuous thread that links us all together energetically. It's not to say that your energy can't be read. It's just really hard to do that through a screen.
The other thing with energy is, and again, this is because I want you to apply it in practice yourself.
Ooh, homework.
Energy manipulation. We've all done it. You sat in a car or on a bus and you stare at the back of somebody's head and they turn round.
Willing the phone to ring.
No, not quite as stuff as random as that.
Traffic lights.
Actual people's manipulation. So getting somebody to turn around. Energy manipulation. The second somebody looks at you, smile. If they smile back, you got them. You manipulated the energy slightly. Do you follow my logic?
It links on with the sociology links and
yeah. But the point is, you can kind of mess around with. I don't want to sort of say something that potentially would get me into trouble, but you can manipulate other people's energy. Because
that's why I'm here.
Because other people's energy manipulates us. If they're in a bad mood, you tend to be defensive or angry, or what the hell's their problem? So you kind of that sort of logic. But if you've got somebody that, I don't know, you're sat in a pub or a bar, or well, you're not in there because it's COVID, a bus, or just in the street, just stare at somebody's hand, for instance, until they move their hand and see what they do with it. Do they itch it? Think these sorts of things. As you're sort of walking behind them, in your head go turn left, turn left, turn left, turn left, turn left, and see if they turn left. And kind of like a mental person, have fun with it.
So inappropriate.
It is, and the only reason that I did some of this and messed about with this is because somebody threw at me a term called psychic vampirism.
You've touched on that on a number of occasions.
I went down a rabbit hole about that to sort of try and go, right, okay, well, I like working with energy. I work with Reiki universal energy. I work with tarot spiritual energy. I've got to be able to work with somebody else's energy. That's easy. That's just a ball of energy. So does that make sense?
Yeah, as long as you're not using it for anything
No.
negative to harm the person or anybody else.
No.
No.
What's the...
Oh, Bryony, I've just pulled a card for you, my lovely. Really strong male energy for you.
Bryony's pulled.
You've pulled, but there's a little bit of conflict with it, I feel.
It's probably just foreplay.
I feel that there's going to be, or there has been, a little bit of upset with a gentleman. Whether that has just occurred or is about to occur, and it is something that you should be aware of, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to get resolved, because I think it will be...
Bryony's laughing. Now, I don't know whether that's laughing because we're bang on or miles off.
I don't think whatever it is not going to hold you back for long. And the positivity has either started to lift again or it is going to lift again, but there's definitely male conflict around you. I'm intrigued now. Tell me.
Fighting for Bryony.
Yeah. And I don't think you were very happy with it to start with. So am I going to be offering Reiki training? I am, actually.
Yeah, we do.
We already have online versions of Reiki training, in which you do the paper-based theory part of it all online, and then... Oh, excellent, Bryony. Spot on. Good to know. Bearing in mind, people, I've never met Bryony.
No, Bryony's
Don't know anything
Bryony's a
about
friend of
her.
mine.
Interesting. I'd like to do a proper reading. A long one.
Something happened today.
Today. There you go. You see, the energy's out there. Okay, hang on before I move on. Oh, it's time to learn something new, Bryony. So have you learnt something new today? You need to learn something that's going to lift you up and turn you around and make things better. Something that's going to move you specifically forward, not somebody else, not a relationship, you specifically.
Ooh.
Sorry, I was just flicking
I
through.
would flipping love that. We'll be in touch.
Excellent.
The same as the Reiki things, though. There is,
Yeah.
on the Facebook page, there's like a little shoppy bit.
There is. We now have a Facebook shop. So there are the 3 degrees, Diana Ross, of Reiki that we do. And level 1 is the basic level, and it is around doing Reiki on yourself specifically. Reiki 2nd degree is about Reiki on yourself and Reiki on other people. And Reiki 3rd degree is about it is becoming a master and learning much more in depth, and then being able to not only do Reiki on yourself and other people, but you can also train further people. If you choose the course, all the attunements that ordinarily will be done in person will be done energetically at the moment. So as with Reiki, as I think somebody put earlier, yes, Bryony had some distance Reiki. It is about working on an energetic level and sending the attunement symbols energetically through universal energy. That is how the course runs at the moment. So you can do level 1 or level 1 and 2 combined, or level 1, 2 and 3 all together. And they're on there. We will be doing in-person Reiki training, but not until we are certain that everything is back to normal and everybody is safe again, because we don't want to put anybody into any uncomfortable situation or likelihood of harm, if that makes sense. If that's helpful.
well, we're sort of in the last 5 minutes, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have.
Good gravy.
This feels like it's been a really energetic one. I think it has.
I think it has.
And
as well.
we went back to our original plan, which was the Sunday share was for us to impart knowledge. Because before COVID started, we were about to open a circle and a discovery circle and invite people and build a group to learn off other people and people to learn of us. And it's that sharing and wealth of knowledge. And we're now online. So you guys are our Sunday share, which is the discovery circle, really. We're on YouTube. Each week we record and then it goes onto there. We've got podcast.
Yeah, on Spotify and Apple Music and Anchor and other places.
Yeah, we're on iTunes. I love it.
We're everywhere. Sorry, Leah. No, I didn't miss
your
comment. I've just drawn cards. This is going to be super quick. Yes, I can see you're a lovely, gentle fellow, Luke. Good intentions. Stop growling. Lovely, gentle energy around him at the moment. Doesn't mean that he's always gentle energy, but there is a balance and a calmness to him. There is also an abundance with him, whether that is a natural abundance or of energy and positive things and love, or whether that is a financial abundance. But you are within that abundance, Leah. You are part of the balance of his life at the moment, and that is for the foreseeable future. There will be conflict. There will be moments that I imagine come from your doubt, but then you will have a very super positive outcome. So your doubts are holding you back and will hold you back. Pack that nonsense in, because as soon as you disengage with that, everything will be good. Let's finish on an angel card. Be strong. Done. Speed read.
Are we finished?
I'm all done.
Crumbs.
Thanks.
Excellent. So yeah, as with is now tradition, because this is the 11th show, if you guys could tap the screen with the love hearts, because it just looks awesome at the end.
Oh, it
We're
does.
sort
It
of
makes
figuring
us
it all
feel
out.
super appreciated.
Marion just put, thank you, really enjoyed tonight. I'll be in touch, reference cards, if I may. Yes, of course you may.
Absolutely. Any one of you, get in touch with us.
Yeah, by all means.
Anna, I apologise. Yours always turns into
There's the love
something
hearts.
massive. Oh,
Blessed be and love to
feel
all.
very
Yes.
loved. Yeah, Anna.
Luke,
I'll
got my
catch
eye
up
on
with
you.
you, my darling. Did you just threaten?
Did I just say that? That voice come out loud. Sorry, sometimes the demon comes
Thank
through
you.
every now and again.
Lovely, lovely Bryony. Even though you sent us an angry
Thanks,
face
guys.
and threw your phone across the room.
That's hilarious.
We've had loads of fun. Thank you so much, and thank you for all the love that's still coming through. Oh my God, it's so amazing.
Yeah, keep in touch throughout the week. It's important during the week to have a quick chat. It gives us things that we want to work on. So next week, I don't know what we could talk about next week.
I'm thinking, that's amazing, they're still coming through thick and fast. I am thinking that I might run a reading session, a group reading session online, opening up a Facebook Live that is purely about doing mini readings for people, just so we don't get caught in doing this on
Yeah.
Sunday Share and not talking about other stuff.
Yeah, because like I
So
said,
if
it's got to be
anybody's
discovery,
interested in that, obviously pop a little comment in, let me know, because I want to know people are going to be there.
So yeah, we'll have a think. We'll have a chat during the week and we'll work out next Sunday's topic. But have fun during the week. Stay safe. Love you all. Bye.
Bye.